The reason why men don't want you to look like an average Instagram model, you think that you can party through your 20s and have the time of your life, which is not true. Dating is a quite different experience for men and women, and it becomes more prevalent when you reach your 30s, as it becomes impossible to neglect the qualities that we're looking for in each other. I've been recommended a video where a woman talks about her dating experiences in 30s, the difficulties she experiences on finding a man who she could potentially settle down with. I have to be honest, I found a lot of negativity in her commentary section, people having fun about her misery, but we're not about that on this channel. Let's see if we can find the issues to her love life and see if we can extract some wisdom out of this.
Okay, so I'm about to be 34 years old. I'm single. I have been single for several years now. I have dated on and off in those few years, but nothing's really become serious. You know, most of the time being single can be pretty great, but there are situations where it draws unwanted attention, like, you know, going to weddings or family gatherings and everybody's there with their husbands and their kids and you're just like the awkward one sitting at the kid table. For the most part, I try not to let my relationship status get to me, but yes, I would like to meet someone special. It would be nice if they did hurry up and get here.
Direct from the start, she tells us how she feels insecure about her marital status, which affects her social life. Also, she points out how desperate she is to meet someone and cannot wait for that special guy to arrive at her door as soon as possible.
A lot of times being single and happily single isn't really spoken about too much. A lot of times it's frowned upon. So a lot of issues that I run into being single at my age is a lot of times the older generation of people, friends, family, whatever, will kind of be like, why are you still single? You're so beautiful. Why is someone like you still single? And you know, sometimes it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you, like you're not deserving of love. I find in my 30s, you kind of tend to be a little bit more picky with what you want because of what I've been through in life. Now, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you know the struggle that I went through in a previous relationship and how much it kind of broke me and ruined my soul. And it took a lot of healing to get to the place where I am now. And because I've reached that place, I kind of have set my standards pretty high.
The reason why women get to hear this kind of commentaries because biology, the older women get, the more problematic it becomes to reproduce. And although I don't think that those commentaries are malicious at heart, but it makes her to feel uncomfortable about her own life. Let's be honest, I don't think she had similar problems in her 20s. She could get with whatever guy she wanted because settling down wasn't her priority then. But as time passes and all of her social circle starts to live this grown-up life, she gets anxious and wants to do the same. Women are much more socially calibrated and care a lot of how surroundings perceive them, and also the fear of not being able to settle down makes everything worse. And of course this internal unease starts to project on her external world.
So another issue I deal with is, I don't know why I'm getting so choked up. Another issue that I deal with is you're kind of left alone a lot of times because by now most of your friends are kind of married with kids and then your friends get together, their kids play together and you kind of don't have that same thing in common. Whereas I want to go out maybe to a nice bar or a patio and have a drink and maybe try to meet somebody while I'm out, but there's nobody to go out with because your friends have to be home because their kids have to go to bed early or, you know.
As I said before, women are more socially calibrated and socially dependent on each other compared to men. Women usually don't rely on friendships in order to hook up with women and find a stable relationship. Also, we're not in a hurry in the same degree.
So when it actually comes to dating life at my age, I basically have to resort to online dating, which is a pretty scary thing nowadays. And a lot of times I'm finding I'm either getting men who are way too young that are interested, or the complete opposite that are way too old.
For your information, online dating has become more of a rule than exception. Nowadays, all we do is to hang out online. And if I'm not mistaken, Instagram is the biggest dating service out there. So people are hooking up online, no matter how old school you think you are. That's where the action happens. Also, I presume that the younger guys want to hook up, and the older guys, you know, searching for something younger.
The guys my age, which is what I'm looking for, someone, you know, between, you know, maybe 34 to 37 would be my nice age bracket. But they're still like not ready to grow up. I don't know what it is with this culture and this time that we're living in. I don't know what it is.
This is desperation taken to another level. People who are blaming men for not being able to grow up are oftentimes women who are desperate to settle down. It's because the time is running out. They want to fast forward the process and make sure that things happen according to their plan. But men are not willing to give up their freedom just because. And I think that the guys she's dating in her own age are just having fun and want to take it easy, whereas she is stressed out and exerts that kind of a vibe that potentially scares off the dudes.
I'm not ruling out a guy that is in his 40s, but usually what happens at that point is a guy that's in his 40s is probably already divorced with kids. And I'm still not ruling out the possibility that I want to have kids one day. So the likelihood that this person will want to have more kids is probably slim to none. Or they could have probably had a vasectomy for all I know. I have no idea. Sorry guys, I just had to take a break. I'm getting kind of choked up here. I don't think this video is going to be so hard to do.
I have talked about similar tragic situations where women have to make big decisions early on in life because, as we already know, men are attracted to youth and fertility. The type of dudes that she could attract in her 20s are long gone in her 30s. She doesn't hold the same power over men. Denying these facts, denying this reality, makes your own life more difficult. We can fight upon how insensitive those remarks are, but that won't change the reality. You either accept what is and try to align your path in life, or you resist and suffer in the process.
So what else usually happens if I meet a guy that's usually around my age, because my clock is ticking, I know what I want in life. I'm looking for someone who's wanting to settle down and, have something serious. But if you're out on like a first date and these are the topics that you bring up with the guy, because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to date somebody for like 3 months and find out this guy is not wanting anything serious at all.
This is one of the biggest issues in modern dating life. We are being taught that women can eat the cake and have it at the same time, which is not true, and it robs them the opportunity to live the life to the fullest. As a young woman full of potential, you think that you can party through your 20s and have the time of your life. And when you pass your 30s, when that clock starts ticking, you think that the right guy will knock on your door with big bouquet of roses and propose to you in that romantic sense that you always have dreamt about, which never happens because that's not reality of how human reproduction works. She is clearly in a rush, which rubs wrong the guys she's dating, and just because she has had a lot of trauma and failed relationships doesn't mean that the guys she's dating should take it into consideration and adjust their dating perspectives accordingly. We all have to make sacrifices. You either sacrifice something today so that you can create a healthier future that will be aligned with your dreams and aspirations, or you party through your youth, invest zero time in your personal development, and then make these kind of videos. And don't get me wrong, this concerns both males and females. I've seen the both sides. There's no one to blame but yourself. The kind of life we live is the consequence of our own actions. If you don't take time to understand what the opposite sex expects from you, wants from you, then there's no one to blame but yourself.
Like, I want to be point blank, like straight to the point, like this is what I'm wanting out of life, like, and usually if you bring that topic up too early, it will usually send the guy running, or you look crazy. Within the last 2 years, I lost my grandparents, both 9 months apart. I just struggle with the guilt that I let them down because they're never going to get to see me have kids. I have videos and I look back on videos all the time and photos, and I see my grandparents holding my cousin's kids and how happy they look, and I'm not going to get to see that, witness that, experience that love. So the other thing I kind of deal with when dating is my looks.
This is unhealthy attitude. You shouldn't base your happiness according to your expectations of what life should look like. The fact that you couldn't flash with your own personal life for your grandparents shouldn't dictate your mental state. Is it something that you can change? Then do it. If not, then accept it. By holding on to it and bearing with yourself, you become your own torturer. And the first step towards healthier life would be to let it go. You don't owe anyone anything, and I'm sure as long as you are happy, your grandparents wouldn't care.
Now, I'm not saying I'm this like bombshell or anything. I know like I'm beautiful, but I don't think I'm like that gorgeous, and I don't understand it. But most people think because of my looks that I shouldn't be single, but it's the exact opposite. It's men either look at me as a piece of meat because of how I dress and because of like my social media, but I do all that because I'm trying to build that as a career, and I look at fashion and makeup as art, not as like, that's not who I am, like in terms of like I don't go out, I don't want to seek attention, I don't want to be a stripper or any of that kind of thing. Like what you see on my social media, all those like glam pictures, that's not how I go out every day. That's like not what I am. But I've been told by men that you can't expect to find anybody decent the way that you dress or the way that you look. So am I supposed to change who I am to find a man?
Change happens all the time. You either do it deliberately or you resist it because it goes against your ego. It's up to you, actually. You don't have to do shit for anyone. But if you want to reach a certain type of goal, a certain milestone in your own personal life, you have to make adjustments. Like if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you have to make sacrifices. You have to learn a lot of stuff, dealing with a lot of stress, being on your own, be your own motivator, be your own inspirator, be your own therapist. Change is necessary for growth to happen. If you think that being comfortable in your own skin all the time is what life is about, you are mistaken. Men are giving you advice about what makes you attractive in our eyes. It's up to you to follow that advice. But if you're not doing everything to make sure the goal that you're reaching for is accomplished, then there's no one to blame but yourself. Appearance is everything for men. If you like to wear loose clothing, then you will be perceived accordingly. And deep down you know what you're doing, why you are doing that. And yet again, I don't think she had these kind of problems when she was in her 20s. It's when the demand starts to dwindle, you start to question the reality. And when your high standards don't meet up with the harsh reality is where the suffering occurs.
I know men like girls in jeans and t-shirt and sneakers, and I wear that stuff. I do that. It's just, I'm a girly girl. I like to be girly. I want to find a guy who can appreciate that and understand that without looking at me as an object or like something sexual. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I should change? Is that something, should I tone down my image in order to find somebody? I don't know.
Women look at women always in a sexual manner. It doesn't mean that we cannot control our urges. It just means that what we see is a potential solution to our reproductive imperative. And it surely doesn't mean that we cannot enjoy your company just because we find you attractive. The reason why men don't want you to look like an average Instagram model is because it sends off wrong vibes. It represents sexual availability. And if a guy wants to settle down and build a family with a woman, he doesn't want her to be sexually available for others.
I'm sorry if this video is like scattered and all over the place. It's just my mind is like racing and I don't know what to say. I don't even know like where to meet anybody nowadays. Like the whole online thing, I don't like doing it. I don't have friends that know people. That's the best way to meet somebody is by being introduced to somebody. Because a lot of times like I will get messages from guys online and you know, they'll say, oh, they're interested in meeting me, but a lot of times I will just say, oh, I'm already dating somebody, or I'll just ignore them because I'm so scared, like scared. It's terrifying putting yourself out there and being constantly let down. So a lot of these guys might just think I'm a bitch, but what they don't understand is it's because deep down I'm terrified. Like men scare the shit out of me.
Now imagine how it is to be a man, to be constantly rejected, and not just by women, all the time. If you're a man, rejection has to be your middle name, so that it can motivate you for growth. I'm not trying to cover up her struggles. I empathize with her. She is suffering tremendously. What I'm trying to say is that she has a lot of emotional baggage and mental issues that she has to take care of long before she wants to meet somebody. Because ultimately, you attract what you are. If you want a healthy, stable relationship, you have to become that yourself.
I've been through so much and it's draining and emotionally exhausting constantly putting yourself out there. The other reason I'm scared to put myself out there is because I'm insecure about my like financial, economic status, whatever. I'm doing this YouTube and my Instagram because I'm trying to build a career because I can't really do anything else because of my medical condition. So it's hard to kind of, when you meet somebody the first time, say, hey, I don't work, I don't really have a lot of money, I can't go out all the time on these like, you know, fancy expensive dates because I can't contribute and pay for everything. So I just have that fear and I hold myself back from meeting somebody because I'm so terrified to just say, hey, listen, like, you know, I don't work, I have a medical condition, but hey, yeah, like what guy's gonna understand that?
I understand, it's a huge burden to have economical issues, but for men, it's not that important to have a partner who is well off and makes great for herself. If you're a decent woman, you can be on your way up. The most important thing that we appreciate is that you are being feminine and know what we desire. And in this case, she is clearly projecting. Women care more about money in men than the other way around. I'm pretty sure that's not the deal breaker for most men she's dating.
The other thing is like social media ruins everything nowadays. Like I'm the type of person, I'm very emotional and I get hurt very easily because I've been through a lot. So trust is a big thing for me. So if I'm seeing somebody and dating somebody and they're going around online and liking photos of like strippers or women with their cleavage out, that's not appropriate in my eyes. Like I'm sorry, I don't. And I know men are visual creatures and whatnot, but and if it's not a big deal, then what's the big deal in not liking the photo? I don't know. I
took the opportunity to check out her Instagram and lo and behold, she had the same type of pictures she was talking about seconds ago. And I'm not trying to say that she is this and that. She's very welcome to do whatever she wants in her life and live her life in whatever way she wants. What I'm encouraging her is to be self-critical, reassess her behaviors, think about what makes women attractive for men, and start working on herself, both mentally and physically. Obviously, she's not able to attract the type of guys she's going for.
I don't know, maybe I'm just being too picky, or my insecurities and my trauma from dating is like just holding me back from truly meeting somebody. But at the same time, like, you know, maybe I have to realize that being single is my path, and maybe I'm meant to stand up on my own and be my own person and be strong, and who needs a man, right? I can go adopt 37 cats, I don't care. I know being single, it's just going to allow me to have more time to kind of focus on my career and my YouTube and my Instagram, and hopefully things will take off, so that could be a benefit. Obviously there's no drama I have to deal with. I don't have to deal with wondering if my man's going online talking to other women or cheating, etc. So I guess that's another plus.
This is what I call brushing problems under a mat, resigning the responsibility over your own life situation and thinking that you're perfect as you are, that you don't have to change anything, that people should like you and accept you for who you are. That's not how reality works. People are drawn to you when you create value. People are repelled by you when you are being an asshole, self-centered, and not caring for others. I'm not saying that she is those things. I'm saying that this is the usual case with people who cannot find partners. Value creation is important, not just in business relationships, but in any relationship.
I basically just have to start dating smarter, I guess. Alone time for me isn't all that scary. I was always kind of a loner anyways, and I do like my alone time. I just like, snuggling up in bed, doing crosswords. I'm kind of a nerd, I know. I don't know what the purpose of this video is. Maybe it's just like a cathartic cleansing for me. I don't know. This is a message for men out there. Grow up. Don't play with girls' emotions. Don't lead women on. Don't let her think you're into something more serious when you're not. Don't be that douchebag that just tries to get into a girl's pants. Because the thing is, maybe you are meeting an actual decent, good-hearted girl, and you don't know the journey that girl's on and what she's been through, so don't fuck with her emotions.
And there, she said it. She's blaming it on men. Her own problems are the consequences of somebody else's doing her wrong. Not taking responsibility will only hurt yourself. You can blame on others all you want, but your life situation will change only if you take action. Men, or nobody else for that matter, owe you anything. Every person has their own preferences and things that they look for in a potential partner. Talking to men is very intellectually dishonest. Most of the men haven't been on dates in many years. More men than women today are virgins. And more men than women today between 18 and 28 years old are not having sex. This problem is more complicated. As women have become more free, they always choose to go for top tier guys, but those top tier guys don't have unlimited amount of slots to fill. A small percentage of men are dating a large percentage of women. So for the women who find themselves in her position, the competition couldn't be more fierce. If you want to have a decent guy, you have to up your game. All in all, I think she has a lot of emotional baggage that she has to take care of. She seems to have a lot of trauma, and I feel for her. She has been lied to all her life, but this is not the end. She still has time, but that time will only work for her if she decides for change. Watch more videos on gender dynamics. What do you think about this situation? Tell me in the commentary section. But for now, Daddy out.